Hi, I'm 𝘿𝘭𝘶𝘦𝘴, President of KPA Lawyers, and in this video series, we were looking to answer the question, why do lawsuits take so long in Ontario? We're starting by looking at the different stages of a civil lawsuit. We talked about pleadings, when you're actually suing somebody at the beginning. We then talked about discovery, you're exchanging evidence. Now the last phase, or the final phase before trial, is mediation, pre-trial, and anything miscellaneous that happens before trial. After you've exchanged documents and after you've exchanged all the evidence, now's a good time to settle. So usually there's some negotiation that happens. And in certain jurisdictions, like the City of Toronto, they mandate that you go to mediation. Mediation is when both sides get into a room, you have a third-party mediator, doesn't have any judgment power, but their job is to facilitate a settlement between the two sides now that we've had a chance to look at all the evidence and hopefully come to a flexible resolution. When it's mandatory, you have to at least go through the motions and make a good effort to settle. Sometimes it's not mandatory and you don't have to do this step. Instead, you go straight to something called pre-trial, where you talk about the plan to get ready for trial and you make a date for trial. But also what pretrial is for, again, mediation. Only this time, instead of a mediator, you have a judge acting as the mediator. They don't rule on anything, but they would say what they would rule if this were trial. They look at all the evidence and they look at both sides and say, hey, I would rule this way or that way. That is mediation and pretrial. Now, I want to spend a little bit of time before we get to trial to talk about motions. Maybe you've heard of the term motion. This person made a motion. So a motion happens whenever you want to ask the judge or a judge to do something or to help you accomplish something at any stage of the trial. For example, you could bring a motion in the discovery phase to ensure that the person delivers the documents when they said they would. So for example, you have 30 days to deliver these documents. 30 days went by, nothing happened. So you bring a motion to the judge and say, hey, I want those documents. And what happens on a motion is it's a little mini trial. You're supposed to prepare your evidence. Hey, I asked for it on this date. I asked for it on that date. Here's the evidence. Here are my emails. Here's everything that I did in exhibits. And you send it towards a judge. Then the other side has an opportunity to respond. They defend themselves. Well, I didn't get those emails. They bounced, or you sent it to the wrong email. Whatever it is, and they defend themselves. Then there's another examination on those motion materials. It's almost like extra discovery. You call up the other side. Didn't you get my email? Yes, I did. Then the judge will actually make a decision just on that motion as to whether or not they should have produced the documents in 30 days and when they have to produce the documents. Also, motions can get adjourned. So all of this pauses each stage, whether it's the pleading stage or the discovery stage or any other stage. Someone brings a motion to ask the judge for something because the other side is delaying or didn't follow along with something. And the other side tries to defend themselves by saying, I tried to follow along, but they blame something else. And then you have a mini trial. Again, that's what the motion is. It's a mini trial. So only once we get past all the motions and we get past the pleadings, the discovery, the mandatory mediation, if applicable, or any negotiation that happens until then, and you get to pretrial, only then do you schedule trial. Then there's trial. Trial, it could take anywhere between a day to 2 weeks to a month. That's where you call all the evidence that you talked about in discovery. You call all your witnesses. I won't go too much into it because you've watched TV and it's not too different than what you see. Although I will say TV is more based in the States. It's not Ontario. And Ontario, it's public, most trials, so you can sit in if you're ever curious to see what they're like. And only at the end of that does a judge render a verdict. This whole process that I've said from pleadings till now, till the end of a trial, takes anywhere between 2 to 5 years in Ontario. And the whole time you're paying lawyers, so it's extremely costly, which is why lawyers will always tell you, you don't want to sue or you want to settle. They'll explain to you, well, it's because it takes a long time. And the typical answer will be, well, the courts are backed up. It takes a long time. But is that really what's going on here? Now that if you've watched the first two videos and this one, you'll see a common theme. And we're going to get into that theme in the next video, in the final video of this series, Why Do Lawsuits Take So Long in Ontario? Thanks for watching, and if you're interested to find out the answer, just click on the next video.